Hello and welcome to my Corrupted Gauntlet Tier 3 prep guide. This video assumes that you know the basics of the Corrupted Gauntlet and is mainly focused on showing you how to consistently get Tier 3 armor and weapons. This is very useful to make the Gauntlet safer for hardcore Iron Man. Tier 3 armor takes the max hits from the tornadoes down to 15 damage per tornado, which makes the max stack you can take from 4 tornadoes only 60 damage. This will make the difference between life and death. This video will explain my thought process and strategies in the gauntlets. This is by no means the only or best way to tier 3 prep. This video will be split up in different parts. First part will be some general information, and time savers, starting strategy, your first bag, the rest of the prep, and some Hunllef tips. For a full tier 3 prep, you'll need 13 of each resource, 3 Grim Leaves, 2 weapon frames, an orb, bowstring, and around 6 to 12 paddlefish, depending on how comfortable you are at Hunllef. You're also going to need 810 crystal shards, assuming you're buying 2 teleport crystals. To make tracking how many resources you have easier, I recommend using the Gauntlet plugin in the Runelight plugin hub. Time savers. You can lure monsters over to where you want to go. You can kill monsters while collecting resources. Simply click the monster as soon as you get an XP drop. You can also scout other rooms while fighting a monster. This tip is a bit more complicated. I call it only collect efficient resources. In this clip you can see 3 linum trees. However, the one in the northeast corner is far away from where I want to go next, so I choose to leave it. This is probably the biggest place where people waste time, the starter room. You should always try to make as much armor as you can when teleporting back. People usually just drop whatever resources they have in their inventory, but this loses you a lot of time. Always make sure you can make as much armor as you can with the shards you have available. And lastly, a small tip, drop your axe or pickaxe when you don't need them anymore to get an extra inventory space. Now I'm gonna explain the U-shape start. This start lets you pre-scout some boss rooms, and is in general just a very efficient way to start your run. First I'll explain how to do it, and then I'll show some footage showing the method. So to start off, you'll be going in a U shape around the starter room, away from Hunllef. In this case, we would start by going north or south, depending which is closer to your spawn point. In all rooms you go through, collect all resources, and you can kill monsters until you get a weapon frame. Then go to the room to your west. From there you can scout a potential boss room to your west. Go south and do the same thing here. Then go one more south and scout the room there also. But now go back east, and then to your north will be the starter room again. This way you will have scouted 3 boss rooms, gotten a lot of resources, and made it back to the start without using your valuable teleport crystal. Also, don't worry if you don't get any bosses in the rooms. You can still easily make the time. This is just a nice extra if you can scout a boss room. If your inventory is full, you don't have to make the full U-shape pattern, and you can simply walk back to the starter room early. You want to try to get at least 100 shards, a weapon frame, and the rest of your inventory filled with resources. Now let's take a look at an example of the starting strategy. I added a map at the bottom so you can easily see where I am. I instantly start off going east because this is closest, and I'll make a U-shape towards the south because Hunllef is on the north. I collect resources in the room, then head south. In this room I start killing the rat while collecting resources to not lose time. Unfortunately, you often don't get weapon frames from the small creatures, but it's worth a try anyway. I then scout the boss room to the south and continue collecting resources. I personally don't like getting fish early on, because you might get them as drops for monsters later on. I now go west and find some big creatures, which have a guaranteed weapon frame drop, so they're very nice to kill. I scout the boss room and find a dark beast, which I will go back and kill later for the bowstring. I kill the wolf while moving over to the next room to save some time. The next room only has big creatures, which now I don't want to spend time killing because I already have a weapon frame. I find some more resources on the last room. I take the wood because that will allow me to make a few armor pieces early on. My inventory is now full, so I run back to the start. I've got a weapon frame, plenty of shards, resources, and even a scouted dark beast. So this is a very successful start. Wasting as little time as possible in the starting room is crucial to your success rate in the Gauntlet. After your first trip, make a staff, or bow, preferably a tier 2 if you can afford it, then buy 3 vials, and if you can make some armor pieces, do so. And drop the rest of your resources, apart from the Grim Leaves. You're now ready to leave the starting room again. From here on out, your pathing will differ a lot, and there's not a set strategy I use. Just try and be as efficient as possible while collecting resources and trying to find bosses on the 12 possible rooms they can spawn in, as shown on the screen. If you scouted a dragon or dark beast earlier, go kill it to get the orb or bowstring. If you find a fishing spot on the way, fill your files there, it saves some time. You don't really want to be killing small creatures anymore, unless you can do so efficiently while collecting resources. They drop very few shards and are usually not worth your time. If you find big monsters, you want to kill those because they do give a lot of shards, which you're gonna need a lot of. When your inventory is full, teleport back, upgrade your weapons if possible, and make as many armor pieces as possible. If you find a bear, it's usually worth killing it as well. You can use the spike on a pestle and mortar to get 80 shards, and guarantees that you cannot get the spike again from any further bosses. This is helpful because next time you find a bear, you are guaranteed to get a unique weapon upgrade, since you can't get the same one twice. I only don't kill bears when I'm doing poorly on time, or when I obviously already have the orb and bowstring. In this part of the guide, I won't be explaining the mechanics of Hunllef because this is not a Gauntlet guide, but a tier 3 prep guide. However, I will explain some techniques you can use to make your Hunllef fight safer. To make the last and hardest part of the Hunllef fight a lot safer, you want to have Hunllef in a certain position, which is either 1-1 from the wall, or 1-2 from the walls. This refers to ball distance. This can either be achieved by entering on a timing where Hunllef is already in the right position, or by moving Hunllef. Moving Hunllef can be quite tricky and annoying, and if done wrong can result in you getting stomped. To move Hunllef, you want to stand under him while his attack is on cooldown. This will make Hunllef move in a random direction, so this might take a while to get him in the right position. Here are some clips showcasing this. And finally, some closing thoughts. In the future, a teleport will be added to the Gauntlet, which will come at a cost of 200 crystal shards. Personally, I will not make use of the teleport, considering the extra 200 shards you will need will drastically lower your prep success rate. But if you're having a very quick prep, it might be nice to get. If you feel like you really want to teleport, it might be worth doing tier 2 prep with the teleport to get consistent runs. In the description of the video, I will add some full corrupted Gauntlet runs you can watch. Also, if you have any questions, I will try and reply to all of them. Thanks for watching and goodbye.